Hi, it's Paul Banis with GreatDad.com, and thank you very much for joining either the podcast or the YouTube version of the podcast. I'd really appreciate it if you took just a second to subscribe either on your podcast app or in YouTube. It doesn't really do anything. It's not going to send you any emails. It's just going to show up more often on your feed, and it does me a lot of good in terms of getting more exposure for this work I do to support dads. I'd also like to invite you to come to my page, GreatDad.com/go, if you'd like to discuss more about any of the issues that we are covering within the podcast, especially if there's any way I can help you to be a sounding board in your own struggles to be a dad and to be there for your family. So take a look at that. It also includes a link to my course on gratitude, where at GreatDad.com/gratitude with a offer to take that course for free. So see you in a second. Hi, it's Paul Banis with GreatDad.com, and I'm here again during my weekly series talking to modern dads about modern fatherhood. And I've got a guest I think who's going to help us out a little bit on some of the child development issues, a psychologist in early child development, Michael Blair. Welcome.
Hey, welcome. I'm officially not using that title anymore. I am basically a life coach now, and
Okay.
but I have 35 years of history and all that. I just found something a lot better than most of the psychology world knows about.
Okay, that's great. That's great to know. And I know you're not just limited to kids. You work with couples and families as well. So that
Yeah, I work with everybody that has pain that wants to get it out and feel better.
yeah. Okay, great. Well, maybe let's just start out because I know you've got a book, and I know you don't want to talk specifically about the book, but you said that there's some certain tools in that book, and maybe it'd be helpful to just get an idea of the kind of things that you've learned in your career, maybe some
Sure.
outline thoughts about how the family functions and what you think is important.
Well,
That's
thank you.
kind of a big, that's
Hey, thanks, Paul. This is awesome. I appreciate this opportunity so much. I really do. I'll give you the title of the book first so you can kind of get used to that. It's a little interesting title. When in doubt, spin it out.
okay.
And if you want to find me, go to Michael at whenindoubt.spinitout.com.
There you go.
So
Okay.
that's over with. We can talk about it later if you want to. But no, the thing that's important about that book, I was working along with people, hundreds and hundreds of people, and we were using this tool, a couple of cousin tools, but that one specifically, and they were able to change their feeling states in like 10 minutes,
Oh,
and they
wow.
did it all the time. And they were feeling better. That was part of the treatment, not the whole package, but it takes a few things to get it all done. But that was a key element. And so I finally woke up to the realization that it was not copyrighted, really. It wasn't. And my leaders, I talked to them, they said, go ahead, have fun. So I decided to get it out to the world. And the reason I'm doing that is because this particular tool does things that no other tool I've found does as well as this does. And there are probably some others, and that's great. Use them. I don't care. But here's the deal. Mom, I called up my grandson. I said, grandson, what's bothering you? He said, oh, I just am annoyed by my sister.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
I think
How
all
old?
20, almost he's 12.
Okay. He's not
Uh,
20.
he's 14 and she's 12. And he said, yeah. And I think all 14-year-old boys are annoyed by their sisters, pretty much, from what I've found out since then. But anyway, so I said, you want to change it? Do you want to feel better towards her? He said, I really do. I don't like this feeling.
Hmm.
And so I said, okay, let's do this spin. And the spin has a series of really cool processes in it that I don't choose to give on the air because it needs to be done privately and probably personally or in a different setting where we have more time and stuff. But what I can do here is tell you the results, the kinds of results we're getting that are just so fun. Oh my gosh. So he looks up at me squeamishly afterwards and he says, I just love her in 10 minutes.
Wow.
Checked with him later, 2 weeks later. He's a grandson. How you doing with that? He said, actually, I'm doing pretty good with that. His mom said, now if you can just work with his sister. I said, okay, next time. But I want to give you another story that's really kind of a model more on the adult side, which includes father, since you like dads and I do too. And it's often left untouched for the men. And it needs to be touched because those guys, men are, like you said a minute ago to me, it's a key element. The male side is a key element in the growth of children. Yeah, it is. Absolutely. Whatever way you want to create that, I don't care if it's boys club, whatever. It needs to be there also. So here's this guy, I'll call him Fred instead of his name. Fred comes to me and says, I'm having a wandering eye. Would you help me with that? Because my wife's betrayed, it really bothers her, and I don't want her mad at me and stuff like that. So I said, okay, we did that. And then he became understanding towards her. I coached him, be understanding towards her for a while now. He said, okay. So he was just reflective instead of defensive. And one day she said, would you like to do that spin with me so I can get over this betrayal and be close to you? And he said, oh, I thought you'd never ask. And she did, and they did, and it worked. 10 minutes, just like that. Now she was ready for that betrayal move, and she asked for it. Lots of women are not ready for that betrayal move until they're ready. So it's not like you walk in and do that the first time you see a betrayed woman. They'll run out the door, run right out the door. So anyway, then she said, oh, could we call our son? He is experiencing anxiety and see how it helps him. They called him. He felt better. I'm not going to say cured, just felt better. His wife was sitting there and she said, oh my gosh, I want some of that. She was depressed. So they did that magic with her, and she felt better also. They then said, can we call our daughter, sister over where she's out of town? She's having homesickness. Can we do that? Okay, sure. They did that. 10 minutes, her homesickness was gone. Then he's out in the Caribbean on a cruise 2 weeks later. He's feeling afraid of drowning in 10 foot of water. He's and it's his wife says, remember the spin. Well, he had it so well memorized in his brain that he just thought of it, and it that fast knocked him right out of the fear. So he was fine with the water, fine, and got adjusted. He was fine. Then he wanted to go down a zip line, and he was afraid of it. So he did that, and became zip line friendly. And then what was the last thing? There's another one. No, that's a really nice look at a family from father right through the whole.
But so you can't just tease us with all that success and not give us a little hint of what you're talking about. Is it a cognitive behavior tip? Is it
I'll,
a
I'll
getting in
give
touch with
you
your feelings or
I'll give you one little taste.
okay.
Just the first part of it is very powerful. It's enough to stop suicide a lot of times.
Oh wow. Well,
Yeah.
that's that is and that's
So let me give it to you. Because I'll give it to you. Do you have something that bothers you, Paul? Republicans or something like that.
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. It bothers me that we could be going to war with Iran. I don't know when when we'll be releasing this, but right now war is on everybody's feeling. I feel like we're back in the 60s again and a nuclear holocaust kind of story. So yeah, how do I deal with that anxiety?
Well, if you want to, and if you want to change it, and you don't want to worry, and it's no help to you, and you want to get rid of it, I'd say where do you what do you feel? You feel anxious, right?
Yeah, right.
Where do you feel that anxiety in you? Where do you feel that in your body?
Yeah, in my chest.
Yes, good. So I'd like you to imagine for a moment that you can just pull that right up and out of you and make it into a shape and a color.
Hmm.
Tell me what shape and color you get.
For some reason, blue comes to mind.
Yeah, what shape?
Um, a circle, a
Yeah,
throbbing circle, kind of.
throbbing blue circle. I love it. That's perfect. So now I want you to notice which way that shape and color spins. It usually has a spin when you feel the anxiety.
I wasn't seeing it as spinning. I was seeing it more as it moving kind of in a diagonal direction. But
All right, that's fine. We'll go with that. Okay. So it's moving in a diagonal direction. Now, what I want you to do is reverse that diagonal direction or spin, if you will, and actually spin it out. And so you make it go as fast as you can, like the speed of a tornado, really fast.
Hmm.
And you spin it out. And when it's spun out, disappear it and tell me how you did that.
Well, it feels like it shrank, at least in my mind, to like a little teeny tiny pinpoint.
Yeah. And maybe you could probably just flick it,
Yeah, there we go.
right? That's pretty great. That's a nice little model. Now, notice that you don't feel as much anxiety now as you did before.
Mm.
It's like it's in the calm of the storm.
Hmm.
It's just like, oh, you just broke my trance.
Yeah.
So that's the whole name of the game is break the trance. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I'll talk to you a little bit about what happens after, but I'm not going to do it with you. That piece right there could be enough to stop a suicide or an angry outburst or any kind of thing if you know how to do this for yourself. Okay.
Hmm.
And you can do it with a child, etc. So here's the next piece that happens. I'll just talk about it for a minute so you have some idea. I ask people to give me then 3 feeling states that they would like to plug in through their chest, right? And they come up with, oh, love, harmony, calm, whatever they come up with. I invite them to breathe that into themselves fully from head to toe. When that's finished, I wait till they do. Then, and by the way, they breathe it in through the chest, right? To the area that you know you feel.
Hmm.
And they feel that it feels really good. And then I go, okay, thank you. And now would you mind weaving that into the fabric of your personality in a very powerful, creative, permanent way? And they do that. And then I say, okay, now I want you to take those same 3 feelings and I want you to go down. I lead them through this. They go down to the from the current body, current age, all the way down the timeline to the youngest them that would best benefit. And they install that in there. We walk that that 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old, whatever age they are, walk them up to the current body age. They integrate back into the adult or the original, and then they walk into the future and notice how those wonderful feelings now help them in the days, hours, days, months, years, weeks, whatever ahead. They check that out. They kick the tires and they usually go, oh, that feels 100% better, 50% better, whatever it is. And
Hmm.
if they need more work, we just do another spin.
Hmm.
We find whatever else is there, we do that. And this is a really powerful process. But you don't know it until you experience it. And what we offer in our with a phone call to me is a quick spin. I'll do anybody that calls me or reaches out to me through this podcast. I'm giving away free 15-minute spins for a while.
Okay.
Don't know for how long, but for right now I am.
Okay.
And so the first 3 callers, they get the opportunity. After that, I don't know if I will. We'll see. But the first 3 who call or email, I'll even give my phone number out for this. 435-703-0756.
Call me
So
before midnight tonight. So, I'm sure a lot of people listening are be like, oh, this just sounds like hoo-ha, crazy, crazy stuff. But I do know at the same time, there's just so much more research, and in the coaching world, you have a lot of people who are really deeply into the somatic approach and feeling these things in your body, feeling the emotions in your body, trying to understand where those feelings are, what that sensation is, how that turns into a deeper understanding of what that means, what you're experiencing, naming the feeling for a lot of men who can't name that feeling, and then addressing it. What is the background for this realization? You said that it wasn't something new, it hadn't been copyrighted, but this is also very, I'm sure this would be also very familiar to a lot of people who are working with somatics now in different formulations.
about 12 years ago, it came out of a meeting where I was invited to learn this. The field is Neuro Linguistic Programming, NLP.
NLP, yeah, yep.
I happen to be a master practitioner for about 40 years in that field. So when I saw it, it was like, oh, that's really cool, man. I'm
Yeah,
gonna do. And then I began to practice on myself and everybody else for 35 years.
yeah.
And after all those years of work, that's the one thing so many people come back to me and say, that really stuck with me, man. That so helped me a lot of times. And so here's the model I gave you up front is just imagine you got a family full of bickering, family full of contention. The chore chart is never used. Screaming, yelling, and mom is just fit to be tied. She doesn't, or dad, they don't know what to do. Well, what I do is help that change forever
Yeah.
in the mom
Okay.
and the dad and in the children. When those changes happen, just one child gets unannoyed, one mother gets calm in the face of the storm. That changes the fabric of that family and progressively until it reaches the new place of happiness. We call it resilient, happy family plan because of that. And we have built a 3 hour class for that. And then after that, packages if people want to have follow through, community, and accountability, and additional tweaking and perfecting and becoming the expert in their home or
Hmm.
their lives. So that's what we're doing here. It's a mission. I think it's a mission, if you will, because we have so many things that are tearing at the fabric of our families, of our children. I mean, somebody just has to call you fat and you can get an eating disorder, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Uh, the associate we can talk about all this stuff for hours, but just take the social media addiction. Uh,
Sure.
I mean, obviously, that's really hard for a lot of us. Those reels are very attractive, aren't they, sometimes? And so, but what happens is communication suffers because of that attraction and that distraction. So how in the heck can we ever get back to a place where we can actually talk and trust and feel and communicate and solve for and laugh and play and have fun? I mean,
Right.
a lot of kids would rather be on their if mom and dad would say, let's go out and have some fun
Yeah.
and go fishing. They go, oh no. I got my
Yeah.
phone, my friends, leave me alone. Thank you so
Right.
much. So with a little bit of shall we call it tough love, maybe, and a little bit of invitation and motivation. So when kids come through the program and I show them each how to do it, I give them incentives. Like, for example, I'll give you $1 for every spin you do over the next week, up to 10. Well, last week I paid out $40 to one family because those 5 kids did 40 spins.
Hmm.
And that helped that family. It started to really turn them around. And it's like they were liking each other instead of at war with each other. You got to
Hmm.
change the pattern. That's all.
Yeah.
Pattern has to be changed. So I'll stop. You ask me a question if you want.
Well, I don't I know a lot of people, a lot of coaches who actually do NLP, who've been through the training and who are using it actively, big believers, but I don't know too much about how NLP came about and what its roots are to ask you good questions about NLP itself and how this is at the root of your program.
Well, there was a wise old, very well recognized Erickson hypnosis dude years ago, and they some guys decided to study him because he was magic with people. He would learn their stuff and he could put it out, and it looked like in one session he could knock everything into place and the person would be totally better. Well, you learned that he spent about 13 sessions preparing for that, but that was what you saw as a result. Well, we don't spend 13 sessions to get to these places nowadays. We have all of his skills packaged up in NLP. But we don't do hypnosis typically, but let's just say everybody's in a trance,
Hmm.
right? And so hypnosis goes on in that sense all the time. You know, I'm tranced by that female over there. I'm tranced by that cake over there. I've got that soda pop, man. I'm in soda pop trance. I mean, you name it. That there's a bunch of them. So anyway, NLP is all about um, the languaging that creates the changes in the way people are thinking and feeling and behaving. And when that changes, they change, sometimes at the core and sometimes fragmentally and sometimes all the way. I think a lot of the psychotherapy world would benefit tremendously from having those kinds of tools. I decided to do them early on In fact, my supervisor didn't like that I did that, but I did it anyway. And it's paid off for 40 years.
Hmm.
And I don't even use the tip of the iceberg, but this particular tool, the spin, is a combination pizza like you've never had before of NLP stuff, all and many other things too. It just creates from conscious to subconscious to conscious, it creates significant permanent change. And it does it in 10 minutes. So
That's
but you got to know how to use the tools. Like a good hammer, oh yeah, it's nice hanging out there on the shed, but if I go out and try to build a house, it's going to kill my hands. But if you go
so.
out,
I'm curious, like an ongoing, if you can do this quickly in 15 minutes for somebody who calls. In general, are your sessions with your clients, if they engage with you for a longer period of time, are they 15-minute meetings, or you still have like hour-long classical coaching?
oh, we do for about 45 minutes,
Yeah.
oftentimes, but we don't have to always. We can package them up in 30-minute times or 45 or hour times, depending on what people need. And the price varies from there. It's pretty economical. And what I can tell you right now is most of your PTSDers, most of the diagnostics, which I don't do anymore, I just read. I have an assessment that goes 0 to 10. How are you doing with anxiety? How are you doing with mood? How are you doing with pleasing other people? How are you doing with headaches? I go down through that. That's all I get. I don't even need to hear the histories. I
Hmm.
don't, because I can take that just like we did a minute ago, take that feeling out of you. We didn't have to have any history, really. We just knew what a little thing, and then that's it. I don't even have to have people tell me what their history is. If they got a feeling they want to change it, we can do it.
Hmm.
And I've got a little deeper recipe I add to this for those who have complex issues. And I won't talk about that by name, but that also is another way to add to the power of the spin. And so for complex, trauma, etc., where people have reactivities coming out all the time, they can't stop them. Then we have a way of also working with the inner mind to get those things resolved. And it's fast. And we're talking, 3 to 7 sessions, and things that the people work on for 25 years in therapy are gone
Yeah.
because the talk therapy is soothing, and sometimes it does connect. But oftentimes you're better off you go directly to the inner mind and get the work done there. And that's where it's not hard. It's not complex, really. It's just that we've been stuck in as a man thinketh, but we forgot the heart. As a man thinketh in his heart. It takes outside and inside both. If you don't
Right.
have the
Right.
inside, if you do not have the inside change, the outside probably will not. You can affirm yourself every day and work yourself to death, coping yourself to death, and it just won't hold or work very long because you don't have the inner mind aligned.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely where therapy has gone, is certainly under the pressure of the insurance companies, and is into shorter term solutions rather than 30 years of talk therapy, where I guess you're, like you say, you're being soothed to some extent, but you're not addressing in practical terms how to heal yourself in a more demonstrative way, today.
It takes a little while. All of us have these habits. This habit of worrying. This aren't our moms.
Mm,
Moms tell me, aren't I supposed to worry about my kids? And I say, how would it be if you were to bless them instead of worrying about them? How would that
mm.
be? Just send good energy out, you know?
It
And
had
how
the
would
same effect, right? I mean,
yeah.
versus sitting
And
there.
wouldn't that feel better for you? And wouldn't it probably have as much or better reaction to them?
Right.
So we could talk a little bit about regression for a minute. We used to have a saying in the cleaning company, we clean up after pets, floods, and 2-year-olds. Well, the 2-year-olds is the part that makes you laugh, but that is so true. And those 2-year-olds are adults who make messes too. Because what happens is a kid will fly out the handle, lose cool, and then the parent will lose cool and regress to 2 also.
Yeah. Quite often. Yeah.
So what happens? Nothing good. It's warfare, control, manipulation, punishment, all that stuff to try to control this little kid. Well, if you stop or you don't go there and you stay here, what happens with the kid? They come down here. at some speed. And when they get there, then you can talk. Then you can love. Then you can explore. Like the dad who said, my wife and I were, um, every time our 17-year-old came home drunk at 2 o'clock in the morning on Friday night, we'd greet him with, "Rah!" And
Right.
then one day we woke up, oh, this is all backwards. And they sat on the bed. He came in at 2, and they said, oh, son, it's so good you're home. And they had a love experience. And we'll talk about this tomorrow. And they did, but it was amicable. It was easy. It was productive. And the kid said, and changed his total life around because of that. He said, I changed because it was the first time in my life that I felt like my needs were at least as important as yours.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That for me, that's the kind of thing we do in this kind of training that we're doing. This is a training. This is, you know, mama skills training, mom and dad skills training time.
Yeah.
We're gonna put dad in there too because dads are always invited. They are, and they will come often these days. They will come.
Yeah, I think millennial for all their pluses and minuses, millennial moms and dads are a lot more open to a lot of this than prior generations. I'm learning some of this. I'm going through a coaching training right now in peaceful discipline, and this sounds very much in line with that. Is rather than the accusations and the ratcheting up of the tensions is the slowing down, the curiosity, the trying to understand your child rather than laying down the law and screaming at them each time something
Yeah.
minor or large happens.
So how do you see this model helping us out? This model of everybody knows how to take care of themselves, everybody knows how to take charge, everybody knows how to, and each member of the family can work on themselves or with each other,
Mm,
and they really get the whole dynamic changed. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Not just talking about it, not just trying to sell them on something, not just trying to motivate them with candy or a Cadillac. What we need is the heart changing. And this is the kind of thing we do. There is another tool associated with this that I want to tell you about. A lot of people are self-shaming or don't forgive themselves for things they've done, even though somebody
Mhm.
says, well, you're fine, you're fine. No, no,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
not.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So I like to say most people are terrible at self-forgiveness. So they carry that baggage around. And that's some of the
Yeah.
most intimate stuff there is. So one of the little tools, I'm going to give it to you right over the air for free. Everyone can have this one for free.
Okay, my
I
ears
don't
are
charge,
wide open on this one.
I don't charge for this one. This one just comes with, and that is this. I, Michael, forgive you, Michael, for being a twerp yesterday. And I release you to your higher power. Repeated 15 times. Now,
Mm.
you can say it more, but usually if you don't have it by 15 and feel the shift over, then there's some spin work to do. Okay. So let me tell you, my dad slapped me as a kid one time. It
Yeah.
stuck with me for 60 years.
Yep. I believe
And
it.
I went up to him one day. I said, Dad, do you remember that? He said, no.
Yeah.
He was a
Never
very,
slap your kid. That's
that one really stuck.
yeah, it does. Yeah.
So I took this process and I did it. And all I came back with was, I love my dad, and that was gone. So that's a little tiny,
Wow.
that's a change tool that is really, I find a lot of my young men, especially that I work with, um, they
So
just don't have that.
I want two questions on that. One is relates to that old Saturday Night Live thing. I think it was Al Franken is I'm good enough, I'm strong enough, those kind of mantras. And he was making fun of those mantras. So I'd love to hear what your take is on how when this becomes ridiculous. But then the other part is I think a lot of that trauma, those kind of trauma statements like uh, that I was such a jerk yesterday. The harder part about that is not I was such a jerk yesterday, but what I did yesterday is part of who I am. And I wasn't just a jerk yesterday. I was that jerk that I've been all my life, and I'm just a jerk. Not just that one time in that moment, but I am a jerk.
Yeah, if you're tired as a husband, of apologizing to your wife for the same thing you did wrong again and again. You snapped, you ignored, you shut up, shut
Yeah.
down,
Whatever it is. Yeah.
whatever it is. If you're tired of that, this is a way to get that fixed
Mm.
so quickly, so seamlessly, you won't even believe that you can do it. And it's this is like finding that great hamburger or that great drink or that great microwave or something. It's like this is a one in a lifetime opportunity for you. If you want it, give me a call. My phone number 435-703-0756, or you can find me on the email Michael at when in doubt spin it out.
So long address. Yeah.
And that book is worth reading. And there's an Audible. It's about Audible's Audible is cheap. Audible's like 375 or something. It's cheap.
Yeah.
So you can get on there and there's a back office training inside of that that's no charge. It goes with the book, QR coded or coded inside of the Audible in a way that you can access the back office area that has 9 videos of people succeeding with this, and then me giving you a walkthrough the spin, and even an example of the self-forgiveness piece.
So but when does it become ridiculous? The like I'm good enough, I'm smart enough kind of thing that what was his name? Smalley or
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, and I know a Smalley that does that, but Gary Smalley's a hilarious guy. But anyway, um, it becomes ridiculous
or
if
maybe
you.
it never does. Yeah, I mean,
I don't think it does become ridiculous because what happens is as you chip away and you get to the place where you don't really need to do it, but maybe once a week, maybe then once a year, you don't stumble, you don't have speed bumps, you step over the speed bumps and you don't get in trouble, and so you don't need it. So coping goes way down.
well, so is the idea of the mantra like that? Is it two parts? Is it one, it helps you accept who you are and takes the blame off you, but at the same time, it helps you change your behavior so you don't do that jerk-like behavior because that's not who you are?
Yeah, it actually they go hand in glove.
Yeah.
I suggest you do the spin and the forgiveness piece as well, because actually the spin is the cake, and the self-forgiveness is the icing on the cake.
Ah,
And I'm telling you, it is. So people double their smiles after after they do that. And you can forgive other people. I forgive whole groups sometimes through that piece, and myself and whatever I was involved. I mean, why not just slay the dragon? Why not get the whole banana?
yeah.
Why stay stuck? And I got some other stuff up my sleeve that's just as magical, just as fun, powerful, and inexpensive and easy that people can do on their own. They just need to have just give somebody a call, make the connections. You don't have to spend a lot of money, get a free start, get a taste, decide if you like it. If you like it, then you can become an expert at it for almost just a low cost.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Good. Well, this is really very interesting that I mean I know a little bit about CBT. I do myself a program around positive intelligence, which incorporates some of the things that you're talking about. It really addresses all the mind chatter that you have that says either I'm worthless, other people are worthless, or the situation is worthless, and trying to identify that and trying to correct that. And they're all very moving ways to change people's perception of the world around them.
Hey, dude, I'm a CBT certified guy too. And in the back of the book for CBTT, it gives probably, I don't know, 25 to 50 ways to do that, right?
Yeah.
It's really nice and they're good and they're healthy. But the thing that's really powerful is it stops and knocks off a whole bunch of the need for those copers is a spin. A spin will knock out the at the core what's going on instead of doing the superficial stuff that
Mhm.
normalizes it, but it doesn't take it away.
Mm.
So CBT has a little weakness there. It's good preparatory, but it's not a finished taking it away. You need to have the takeaway,
Yeah.
not just a coper. So coping's fun.
Okay.
Let's get it. Let's take it to the bank.
Okay. So people can find you at whenindoubt, spinitout.com.
Yeah,
Was that
maybe
with
that's the book. That is a
that's the
one.
book?
Number two,
Or Blair Counseling and Coaching.com.
I'm using the Michael at when in doubt, spinitout.com
Email.
and and then the phone number.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Well, thanks a lot for spending some time with me today.
Have fun with
Yeah.
that. Take it
Yeah.
home and enjoy
Yeah.
yourself.
I'll be spinning it out all afternoon.
Attaboy. I'm glad you got the message.
Okay. All right. Paul Bayes with GreatDad.com. And you can find more about my coaching offerings at GreatDad.com/go, including a free course on gratitude for listeners of the podcast. Okay. Until next time, stay strong.
Paul, thank you. Goodbye.